Thank you very much for joining the live stream or for watching the recording. Today is another topic specific live stream, which means that I will not be answering questions not related to the topic. If you have any questions to today's topic, I'll be happy to answer them. If you don't, leave it for one of the next open Q&As live streams, but the next two live streams will be also topic specific because there is one very interesting change which I will talk about the next live stream, and then the second one will be about something else. So maybe the third one will be again open Q&As. But today the topic is the TV and radio fees, because there has been a big hype about that now, and rightfully so, because the thing is that no one really knew that this was happening, because why would you, it was nowhere in the news, nothing, because the law changed and the rules for who has to get registered for paying those has changed, and no one really noticed. So we found out ourselves a week ago, and since then we've written an article about that. We've sent a newsletter to all our clients, those who didn't opt out. And now I'm doing this live stream, so we've done as much as we could in the week. But there are definitely still a lot of you who have not heard of this or haven't done that, so please do that. So what's it about? There are two things. One is that every person, like a private person, individual, human being, legally residing in the Czech Republic, must pay the TV and radio fees, which are mandatory as long as you own like a machine, or how to call it, I don't know how to call it, like a phone or TV or radio or laptop or anything that is technically able to receive any of those, like radio waves or TV like programs, which basically all smartphones are, all like laptops are. So basically, as long as you have a laptop and or a phone, you should pay. And of course TV and radio, obviously. But yeah, so that's been mandatory for years, forever. Everyone has to pay. But what has changed now is that freelancers in the Czech Republic, including foreigners, have to get registered to pay the TV and radio fees before the 1st of July, so before tomorrow. Otherwise, they are facing 10,000 crowns fee or fine from the TV and 5,000 crowns fine from the radio. So that means in total 15,000 crowns potential fines from both of these authorities. And let me just comment on Sarah Polmanová, because usually it's Czech people who come here and say, your English sucks. They write it in Czech and then they immediately leave. So I'm used to that, but that someone would say that I speak nicely English, that's very unusual, and I thank you for that, Sára. Děkuju, Sáro, to jste jediná asi, kdo tohle píše. Většinou sem Češi přijdou a řeknou, že mám hroznou angličtinu, napíšou to v češtině a odejdou. Takže děkuju. Anyway, back to the topic. So yes, if you're a freelancer in the Czech Republic, even as a foreigner, you should get registered to pay the TV and radio fees before the 1st of July, tomorrow. Otherwise, you face up to 15,000 crowns fine from these authorities that you did not get registered. But now, the thing is, you will not, most likely, like 99% of you will not need to pay anything, because you only have to pay if you have more than 25 employees and or you rent cars that have radio and stuff like that. So 99% of you watching will not pay anything as a freelancer. But you have to get registered to tell to the TV and radio that you will not be paying anything. And if you don't do that, you face the fines. Obviously, I don't think they will fine everyone for like 15,000 crowns for getting registered a week late. So I don't think if you do it like before, if you don't do it before tomorrow, that you will get fined. or definitely not the full amount. I don't think that's the purpose of that, but officially that could happen. So if you have a trade license, even if it's your secondary activity, go get registered. I've shared a link to a detailed guide on how to do it for both the TV and radio in the description of the video. So whenever the video is uploaded, go there, click the link, or go to our website movetoprague.com to the blog section, and we have also the last article there is the detailed description or step-by-step process on how to do it. It's not really complicated. You basically just need to fill in your email, then send you a link, you click the link, you like set your password, you fill in the details, like what's your business number, if you have 25 employees or not, and that's basically it. So it can be done in 5 minutes total, each of them. So it's very simple, but do it, definitely. Even if you're not sure if it applies to you, I mean, for example, there is kind of a question mark about people who have, or freelancers who have long-term visas, the business visas, because officially they say that it only applies to foreigners with long-term residence permit and permanent residence permit. The question is if Czech radio uses the same terminology as Czech immigration. Question is if to risk it, because in my opinion, if you get registered even though you didn't have to, it's better if you don't get registered and you had to. So do it. If you have a trade license, do it. It's very simple. The description or step-by-step guide will be in the description of the video. So do it and you'll be completely fine. Let's now see the questions, because there were some questions regarding the topic. So, Tuaganix. Hello, I have many questions. Okay. Who has to pay these fees? So if we're talking now about the hype thing, that's every freelancer that has more than 25 employees and or who rents out cars. Basically any cars, because if you have a car, you have a radio. If you don't meet these requirements, you don't have to pay, but you still have to get registered, that saying that you like don't have these employees, so you don't have to pay, but you still have to get registered. Second question, can I opt out? Not really, but basically when you get registered and you say that you don't have 25 employees, you don't rent out cars, that means that you will not be paying anything. So that's basically kind of opting out, but you have to get registered. My tax agency sent me a link where I can pay, but it says the website is down. How do I pay before the deadline? That's been happening because no one really knew about it. Even Czech people didn't know about it, and it started being a topic like really a week ago, just a week before the deadline. So now it's obviously under big, like a lot of visits to the website. So I've also tried it today, and it was there were some errors, and it wasn't possible to proceed with that registration. So there might be some delays. I don't think the primary point of that is to give you fines. So as I mentioned before, if you do it later, I don't think it will be much of a problem. Just do it. Do both me and my partner have to pay? That's a question. If both you and your partner are freelancers, then you both have to get registered, and pay or not pay depends on your number of employees and number of cars you rent in. As private people, potentially both of you, I mean, if you are in the same household, so you live together, then just one fee. But if you lived in two different places, then potentially each of you would have to pay yourself. Brandon, hi Jan, I don't mean to be off topic, but I really love the podcast. Keep it up. Woo! Thank you, Brandon. That's good off topic. Thank you very much. Did you or have you watched or listened both of them? Because we've just dropped a new one, which is about relationship, love, and all that. So we have 2, and we'll be adding more because we have some more episodes ready. So we'll just be adding them. So thank you very much, Brandon. Sara Polmanová, thank you ještě jednou, děkuju moc. Tinsei Mekonen Abate, I replied to Czech Embassy in Addis Ababa for study purpose. Okay, so that's not related to the topic, so I'm skipping that for today. Tauganix, I have put my trade license on pause. Do I have to do it? Yeah, if your trade license is paused, you don't have to do it. The point is that kind of if you're using, the whole idea of that is supporting a free media like the Czech National TV and Czech National Radio, which should be creating content that is then distributed for free with minimum amount of ads, so they don't have to rely on ads to like support their function and creation of new like whatever TV series or news and all that. So that's kind of the point. And the thing is that if you have a trade license, because that was another question I got from a client, if you have to pay both, like as a private person and as a freelancer. And technically, yes, because the private one is just about your home. So you're relaxing and you're watching a TV or you're listening to a radio. So that's your personal use of that. But you can also be using a radio for your business. You maybe have some waiting room, or you're working as you're polishing nails or whatever, and then you're listening to the music the whole day, so the time goes faster, and you're using the radio for your business. So those are two separate things, even though for freelancers it's one person, but that's like two different purposes. So potentially, yes, you should pay both. And yeah. But if you have the trade license post, then it doesn't apply to you because you don't have a business, so you don't have anywhere technically, officially, to listen to the radio. As for registering for both, technically if you just use one, you could choose, but it would be kind of hard because usually if you have TV that also receives radio waves, only if you didn't have any like smartphone or anything and you only had like old school radio, then potentially you could just register for the radio fees. But that's kind of unlikely in my opinion. At 10 Food, I submitted my appeal. So guys, today is not an open live stream. That's just topic specific. So I will not be answering questions outside of the topic. Unless it's saying that our podcast is great. Thank you again, Brendan. But I don't see any other questions regarding this. So I guess that's the end of the live stream today. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. If this is something you didn't know and you know someone who is a freelancer and who hasn't registered or potentially hasn't registered for paying the fees, share it, and hopefully this will be helpful. Tauganix, you're amazing. Thank you for all the help. My pleasure, guys. How can we support you? Just like, share, comment, you know the drill, because that really helps, because it shows the algorithm that this is a good content. Then they promote me more people know about these topics I've been talking about. So that helps. Subscribe, like, share, comment, the classic combo. Okay guys, thank you very much, and I will speak with you and see you again Thursday, Monday, until the end of the world. Good night. Bye bye.